Welcome and thank you for joining Diaries of an Ex-Adult Entertainer with Robbins, the podcast, where we have real, raw, and uncut conversations about transforming negative experiences. Get ready to be empowered to take inspired action to heal, activate inner liberation, and birth your new. Hey everybody, it is your illustrious, vivacious host, moi. Welcome back to another episode of Diaries of an Ex-Adult Entertainer, the podcast, where we have real, raw, uncut conversations about transforming negative experiences. Y'all, I'm excited about today because I got my sister friend here with me. Let me go ahead and introduce her, and we're going to get into this episode. Y'all are definitely in for a treat. So just go ahead and just grab your pen and paper because she is a mic dropper, okay? So just get ready, and let's get into this. Andromeda Raheem is a certified master life coach, personal development coach, and motivational speaker, as well as the author of She Wins, the ultimate guide for women to gaining a winning mindset and lead a winning lifestyle. She is also the founder of She Wins Society, which is a global membership community. Over the last 7 years, Andromeda has dedicated her life to empowering women to shift into a winning mindset, prioritize self-care, and invest in their personal development to achieve the highest level of success in their lives and careers. Her thought-provoking and life-transforming messages shared on social media have attracted a following of over 100,000 women worldwide. And I can't hear nobody. As Andromeda wholeheartedly believes in the power of community, she continuously creates spaces and opportunities for women to work and win together. Her mantra simply is, when women support women, we all win. Andromeda has been featured in the Huffington Post, She Magazine, Rolling Out, and on the Redefining Wealth podcast, among many other reputable publications and platforms. Andromeda's ultimate life goal is to fulfill her divine purpose and leave an inspiring legacy that will positively impact current and future generations of women and their families. Y'all go ahead and give it up and welcome my sister friend, Andromeda. Ow! Hey, material girl.
Thank you for that awesome introduction. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's so good to have you. You know, I like cutting up with you. Y'all, I am a proud member of the She Wins Society. So this is real. This ain't just, fluff, okay? So yeah, that part. I just want you to know that. Come on in here, get real comfortable, and you gotta tell us now. I want to start from the beginning, really briefly. What were the experiences that led you to that awakening to know that this was your purpose? This was what you were supposed to do?
That's a good question. Well, I realized that, how do I put this? Issues with women were something that was my constant pain point. It was something that I was always feeling disappointed about. I really wanted to have healthy, relationships with women. We see the movies like Waiting to Excel and Sex in the City and all these movies that show women like being really close friends and working together and being there for each other through their struggles and being able to be vulnerable with one another And I craved those types of relationships. But what happened is I would go into these friendships, and somebody was just like, just being nice to me, I'd immediately call them friend. And I would go in very vulnerable, even naive sometimes, to assume that the same energy I was going to give is what I was going to get in return. And what I discovered through that process was that a lot of people weren't able to be the same kind of friend to me that I was to them. And so that caused me to be disappointed. I experienced a lot of revolving doors of friendship. It just was constantly like, okay, this is my friend. This is my friend. New friend here. Like, I didn't believe in no new friends. New friend, you're not working out. New friend, you're not working out. New friend. I always had a friend, but it just never gave that closeness, that relationship that I was really looking for. And so it all started with me. I always knew, well, I won't say I always knew, but at some point in my life when I was working for the state of Florida, after I got my accounting degree, I had worked so many jobs before then. I mean, I had worked in a bakery. I had worked at Office Depot. I had worked, for a t-shirt company. I worked for all these different places, and I was always constantly moving because I was never fulfilled or satisfied in a position, in a job. When I started working for the state of Florida, it was like, okay, I got my degree, I'm working in my field. And so then the thing was chasing money at that point. I'm gonna keep elevating and getting promoted and getting the bigger office and getting the more money. But then I got to a point where I reached that salary, that was my goal salary. And I was like, I'm still not fulfilled here. I'm still not happy here. And so then I went on this journey of trying to figure out, like, well, what is my purpose? What's actually going to fulfill me to do? And so in doing that, I started a blog because I realized in conversation with my sister and myself that one of the things that God has given me as a gift is writing. I've always been really good at it. It's come naturally to me. I could write a 10-page paper overnight and get an A. Like that is what my thing, that's my gift. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to write. That's what my gift is. I'm going to write a book. Before I do that, I'm going to start this blog so I can get my juices flowing and see what I actually want to write about. And then through that, I realized, again, back to that, my pain point has always been this issue with women wanting to really have those relationships. And so my blog became, once I was done talking about like just me and whatever I had going on, like I started to really just get into those conversations about women and why we have this disconnect and why we're not working together and things that I could have even done better in hindsight. Yes. That could make a relationship last longer, or things that I felt like my friends could have done better in those situations. And through that blog, that's when I started to, I got on Instagram and I started to have so many women tell me that they resonated with my message, that they really, they felt the same way about these things. And I was like, oh, I'm not alone. Okay, cool. And so then I had women start to say things like, well, how can I become part of this movement? And I'm like, oh, it's a movement now. Okay. Cool. And so from there, basically, it became a life of its own. Like I said, okay, there's other women out there around the world who feel like I feel. I have to create a space for us to connect, because we are the women who truly, genuinely want to have these relationships. Everybody is not there, and that's fine. But for us, we need a space for us where we can be vulnerable, where we can know that we're going to be supported. We know that we can put energy into something and it's going to be reciprocated. That's what I wanted to create. So that's basically how we got here. I literally was just following my purpose, paying attention to the signs God was sending me, and then just making decisions from there. But I didn't start out saying I was going to start a community. I just started out writing a blog because I was going to write a book. It took me 3 years to actually get that book written because I was so immersed in building my community. So that's how I got here.
Wow, that is powerful. So there's so many things that, just listening to you, I'm like, a lot of people use women's empowerment or women's empowerment as a buzzword because they know that there's money attached to it. But you are one of those persons that you truly believe in this thing. Like, you eat this, you live this, like this is real for you. It's not just about an income. And that's one of the reasons why I personally connect with you, because I'm like, yeah, I don't do it. I can't do fake. And you are as genuine and as real as they come. And I appreciate you, honey bunches.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yes, girl. But You know, I'm gonna have to reach back for a second because you said some stuff. You said there were experiences that you went through where the relationships you desired to have with other women, it failed. You got burned. You know, people weren't doing right. They wasn't reciprocating. It wasn't mutually beneficial. Take us into at least one instance of that. Because you know, I gotta go there. You know, I got to go there.
Well, this instance is something. To me, I feel like it's maybe one of the more impactful ones because it impacted not just me, but it impacted my husband as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Juicy, y'all.
Yeah, this one is kind of juicy. I was working with a girl. I met her at my job, the bakery job. I met her there, and during this time in my life, I was really I was struggling. Like something happened with my car, so I was like walking to work. My husband had, or at the time, boyfriend had got into a motorcycle accident, and his car wasn't available. So like I'm walking to and from work every day. Like it was just a tough time in life for me. I remember specifically. And so I met this girl at work. We worked in the same area, and she seemed nice enough. At one point she offered to take me, home, and sometimes she would pick me up and take me to work and things like that. So we built our relationship from there. However, I'm gonna say this. We were probably friends for a good 2 years. And I trusted her. She had given me no reason to doubt her or to believe that she didn't have my best interest. I mean, she was coming over to my house. She'd be at my house often. She'd do my hair. You know what I mean? Like we would go out and we'd hang out together, and we had a friendship. But 2 years into our friendship, something strange happened. It just came clear out of nowhere. I had switched jobs at this point. So now I'm working at Office Depot. But we're still friends. We're still talking on the phone. We're still seeing each other regularly. And she just walks into Office Depot with one of her friends, someone who I've known to be messy. You know how sometimes you meet people and they have friends and then you become friends with those friends? Like, I never wanted to be friends with that friend. No, thank you. But she came in with this person, and I don't know, something in my spirit was like, I don't know what's going on with this. But basically, she came to me to tell me in so many words that my boyfriend had come to her house the night before, and he was trying to like get with her. So I'm like, first of all, where's this come from? Number one. Number two is she lived in the country. So there's no way he could have stumbled across her house. You had to give him the address, sis. Like he didn't just pop up. There's no way for him to, like, nobody knows where you live. You out here in the country out here. So if he got there, you told him how to get there. And you're saying this happened the night before. Where we do that at? If your partner trying to get at me, at the very least, I'm gonna be like, sis, we about to set this up. And when you show up, they gonna be there, right?
All right.
So if he came the night before, why am I just not finding out the evening after? That doesn't sound like that makes sense to me. You went all day without telling me. You let him come to your house and you didn't call me. Like all of this has happened. Okay. So me being me, first of all, I'm at work, number one, so I'm not going to pop off. But two, I'm a cool, calm, and collected kind of person. Like, so I'm hearing you say what you're saying, and I hear you. And I'm not throwing away what you're saying because I feel like you can't put anything past anyone, right? So I'm not saying like he didn't do anything. I don't know. So I talked to him about it and everything. And, we were kind of in a rocky space for a second because I'm just like, what is going on here? Like what actually happened to bring all of this about? Right. And so he was like, he had saw her that day when he went to the store to like get some cookies or something like that. I mean, she's at my house all the time. So they're both friendly as well. We live together.
Right.
So it was like he did see her or whatever, but it wasn't anything that happened. Like he doesn't know what she's talking about. And of course, I was my cousin. You call him, I'm like, I want to talk to your cousin, boy. Like, what's your cousin gonna tell me what you want him to say? So we're gonna go ahead and skip past that. For the sake of shortening this story, I decided like I was just gonna take a break from just talking to her. And I couldn't not talk to him because we lived together, but I'm trying to just get clear about what's happening here. So I'm just listening to what everybody's saying and trying to pick this apart for myself. And so what it came down to was that she started to send me more evidence. And this is where she messed up. She's sending me text messages to my phone that were supposedly text messages from his phone. Now, this was back in like 2000 and I don't know, like I feel like 9 or something. So, text messages looked a lot different. So you could like kind of copy and paste and kind of make something look like a text message back then.
Okay.
So, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, something don't feel right with it. But either way, I'm calling him on the phone, like, what is this? What's going on with this? He's like, I never text this girl. He's like, you can look at my phone records. So he had Verizon at the time where you can actually go and look in the phone records to see if somebody texted or called or whatever on a certain day. That was all the facts I needed. When I went to go look, there was no exchange between her phone number and his phone number ever in his call log, not by call or by text. And so at that point, I knew she was making it up. Even if the whole story isn't made up, and you're lying about something. I can't find a lie in what he's saying, but I can find a lie in what you're saying. And so that at that point, it was like, this friendship is over. Mm-hmm. And so it was that situation was really just like, I honestly don't know what happened there. I don't know why she made up that story. I don't know if she wanted to be with him. I don't know if she wanted to be with me. That's my sister's take on it. I don't know what her reasoning was, but I felt absolutely betrayed after having someone be in my house all the time. I mean, it could be the fact that she was there. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we were very close. My husband is very loving towards me and affectionate. Maybe she was jealous of that and she wanted to break that up. To this day, I don't know, because I refused to have any conversation with her once I realized that 100% you are making this up. So I didn't talk to her anymore. But that's one of the situations that I've had where that really made me take a break from trying to even have any friendships with women for quite some time, because it was crazy.
Yeah, I could only imagine the type of headspace that put the both of you in, as it was affecting the both of you guys. Woo, that's a lot. That's a lot. Woo, woo, woo. So here you are, having these crazy experiences with these crazy people. Well, let me correct my vernacular. With these unhealed individuals, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in a place where, trying to figure out and understand, okay, well, why, I can't, connect to something genuine, something real. It leads you on this path. You're doing your blog. It becomes a movement. Women are like, oh my God, yes, I resonate as well. I agree. And you build the community and you build your space. Fast forward. Once you begin to build the community and you build the space and you begin to connect other women, what happens there? Is everything okay? Does everything flow? Is it over? Is it finally like, because a lot of us, and I ask this because I know I tend to think like this. Well, if I do it, then I know I'll have some sort of control, if you will, over the situation. And so, or over, overall. And so, I'm going to try to put as many parameters in place so that this is what I envision it to be. How is it for you? Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, goodness. How was it for me? So I can definitely say that things have not always gone as planned, without a shadow of a doubt. I can also say that there are people who have come into the community and not exactly been in alignment with what's going on. I think that there have been people who have come into the community and gotten disappointed because they had some false idea of what it should be in terms of like, okay, I joined this community, but now I immediately have this relationship with people. Like, you still have to build relationships. You still have to show up, you still have to be active. You still have to let people know who you are. This is a safe space for you to do all of that, but you have to do your part. And I think that some people, like, especially if I can remember a specific entrepreneur who was, I guess, just starting out, and she thought that she would join the community and post her bracelets and people would just buy them instantly. And so she was very disappointed, especially when she would see other members who, I guess, would get more engagement or be more effective in getting support. She felt like she should be getting that same support. And I even tried to talk to her and explain to her, like, these people have been here for a while. They've taken the time to nourish these relationships and let people get to know them and show up and things like that. So that's why people naturally support them. I always say that when the relationship is genuine, the support comes naturally. You don't have to force it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to face it. It comes naturally. People want to support people that they know, that they like, that they trust, right? We know this. And so that was one of the challenges, is just having people come in and then, they get all upset and want to leave and talk junk because it didn't go their way, but really you didn't show up. I definitely had a lot of days where I was discouraged because I felt like one or two things: either women were not seeing the value in what I was offering. I felt like I was creating something so positive, but women weren't supporting it. And then I've had days where I felt discouraged about the fact that I have this vision. God has given me this vision of women coming together and working together and genuinely, using their resources, their talents, their skills to help one another to elevate. And us pulling together our resources in order to help one another to elevate. But I would get discouraged when I felt like, sometimes people can be very selfish and they really are just about themselves and they're only concerned about their elevation. And once they get what they feel like they can get from you, then they're off to the next thing. And so that has been discouraging in this process. But I can say that today, not even for the most part, 100%, I feel like the women who are part of She Wins Society today are all women who are on the same accord. We all have genuine hearts, thoughtful hearts. We're all here to contribute something positive to the community. So I'm thankful for that. But I think we definitely had to kind of just figure out, like, what's the messaging that we want to send to let people understand, like, what this really is, as well as to nip things in the bud sooner rather than later when we see people kind of not acting in accordance with the culture we're trying to create.
Yes, absolutely. You said something so positive about relationships, and it just made me think. You was like, yeah, we believe in supporting one another, but at the end of the day, you still have to come in and build a relationship. And for me, I've had to swallow the very, very hard pill of that, because of your background and how you grew up and whatever the case may be, you haven't had the opportunity to really see what a positive relationship looks like. And I think that is, we take for granted and we just think that everybody knows. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know how to be a friend because you should just know how to be a friend. Like, just reciprocate what I'm giving you. And, we have all of these preconceived notions, right? But what I have learned is that at the end of the day, I'm talking about high achieving women are struggling in certain areas personally because of the era that we grew up in. And, not all of us had the opportunity to see these types of relationships modeled. So there's no example to go by. And then we're left to our own devices trying to just figure it out the best way we absolutely can and maneuver the best way we absolutely can. And a lot of the times in that trial and error, we fall flat on our faces. And so what is your thought process on the dynamics of women building genuine relationships? Like, what are some of the things that you believe needs to be in place? So I got a list, but you know I ain't no good. But I mean it with, I'm pure place. But you know how I get. So what you think we need to do, ma'am? Because, Hunty, I just want us to, it's time. It's time. It's time.
It's past time.
That part.
It's past time. I mean, if we really, again, the vision God has given me, it's clear to me. I have no question, no doubt in my mind that our growth, our elevation as women, specifically even when we're talking about Black women, is in our unity. It is. And as long as we are divided, as long as we are, at each other's throats, as long as we are celebrating each other's failures, as long as we are canceling each other when we make a mistake, as long as we are doing that, we are not going to be able to elevate. And it's going to affect not just us, but our children in the next generation, the same way we were affected by it. And so it's definitely time to stop the cycle, right? Like, regardless of how you feel, if you can see that there's greater good in this, move towards this, right? And so I think that at the basis, at the foundation, respect and compassion. Compassion is a huge factor. Because I think that one of the problems is that we're not even compassionate for ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves. We won't extend ourselves grace. So we won't do that for the next woman. Why would we? If you think that you're supposed to be perfect, if you don't give yourself permission to make mistakes, why would you give the next woman that permission? You won't. But the thing is that we all have a story. You as a woman, we're women in our 30s, right? We know for a fact that sometimes life just don't work out the way you plan. Sometimes you think you know something, but you don't really have a clue. Sometimes you got to learn and grow through some stuff. And sometimes you have the best intentions, but you still hurt people. That's what we know for sure. So with knowing that about ourselves, walking our own journeys, we should be able to look at the next woman and say, okay, friend, you didn't show up to my event. I'm not going to cut you off. I'm not going to cancel you for that because you're living a life too. And I might not even know about all of the things that you're going through in this moment of your life. So I think compassion has to be at the root of it, giving ourselves compassion so that we can be compassionate of other women. When you are compassionate, you're more forgiving. When you're compassionate, you allow more leeway for things not to look exactly the way you think it should look. A friendship doesn't have to be perfect for it to be a good friendship. A person doesn't have to show up for every one of your events to be a good friend. That is not what's the requirement of that. And so when you can say, okay, sis, like at your nature, at the root of you, you have good intention. You are really out here trying to be the best person that you can be. And you're going to fall short sometimes, the same as I will. And so when you fall short, I will offer you correction, assistance, support in that situation. And then we can keep moving forward. As long as you're not doing something that's harming me, that's detrimental to my life. As long as you're not doing that, we can still keep trying to work and build together. You can't just throw people away. Because if you do that to somebody, you're going to feel what that feels like, and it's not any fun.
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, I had a bad case of throwing people away. Like, it was bad. I was cutting people off. Mm-hmm. And my mindset around that was, it was out of protection, trying to protect my space. But what I learned was that was really a trauma response. Mm-hmm. This is why I always say, y'all already know I'm on my rampage. We just need to heal. If we heal, the world is going to be a better place. We just need to heal. It was a trauma response. It was when I saw certain things that looked familiar, when I heard certain things that sounded familiar, or when something was done that really, really hurt me, instead of processing that and or even trying to have the conversation, I was just like, you know what? Can't do this. So this is not going to work. Thank you. It's been nice. Come again. You know what I mean? I had a bad case of that. And it's so funny that you stated this. You said if we don't have compassion for ourselves, mine stemmed from loving myself. I didn't know how to properly love myself because, again, that was something that wasn't modeled before me. You know, if I'm growing up and I'm watching my adoptive mother put up with any and anything, getting beat, doing all this, what does loving yourself actually look like? Right? These things weren't modeled before me. And so for me, I had to maneuver, thanks be unto God, like, you know, that I could hear and that he speaks to me, because without that guidance, and, you know, I wouldn't have gotten to a certain point. And then therapy helped me get, you know, even further. But oh my goodness, oh my God, when we don't know how to properly love ourselves, we cannot really love others. And we often hear that, but what we don't see or what we don't hear is how to love yourself. That's missing. That's missing. And so we hear that we need to, we hear that we're supposed to, we hear that that is the pathway in order to love others, especially unconditionally. Because I think what you're speaking about, that's unconditional love. Like not throwing people away or quote unquote canceling them. That's when your love walk is so amazing that you have the capacity to look beyond the shortcomings and the faults and still see who a person is or their intentions and stuff like that. I think for me, I got so tired of being a doormat because I have a huge heart. I got tired of being a doormat. I got tired of being burnt. I got tired of giving people chances. And then I just got to a place where I was like, I have to protect myself. So cut it. You know? So I just love how, I mean, Andromeda for president, anyone? I'm just saying. I love how you just like, this is what we need. You always give me presidency. When you talk about these things, like this is just what we need to do, like compassion. I hope y'all caught that. Compassion for yourself and then compassion for others. And as long as things are not detrimental, you can work through it. I'm going to say this. If you don't know how, it is okay to do therapy. It is okay to connect with Andromeda. Amen. Connect to people who understand what that process looks like, because it's not just with friendships. What we're talking about, literally at the core, it goes across the board for life, period. And so usually how we deal in our relationships is a reflection and or mirroring what we got going on the inside, some shape, form, or fashion. So Andromeda for president, listen. Okay, ma'am. So that was good to me. So in terms of building relationships, we need to have compassion with ourselves and others. What are some other things? Give us at least 2 more things that you think we really, really need in order to have better, productive, and mutually beneficial friendships and or relationships.
That's good. So I'm going to say communication is definitely key. I've said for a while, communication can save a relationship. It can save it. A lot of the times, disagreements or reasons why relationships end is from misunderstanding. It's not there's no clear communication. Somebody is making an assumption about what somebody is thinking or what somebody is feeling or whatever the case may be. And that women, I would say, are more notorious for that than men. by far.
Absolutely.
Like, bro, what's up? Like, what's up? Women, we get in our mind, oh, she treated me like this. And then you start trying to go back in your head, but then she did that too over there. And, you just start trying to connect these dots instead of just saying, sis, what's up? You all right? You good? Is it something that I did to hurt you? Whatever the case may be, because again, everybody's living their life. You might have a friend, you might talk to her regularly, but you're not going to work with her. You're not dealing with her in her marriage. You're not dealing with her kids. You don't know everybody, and not to mention what she might be dealing with from the past, that's crept up and triggered her. You don't know. And so being able to keep an open line of communication, that I got to add vulnerabilities to the list too. That vulnerability, being able to say, because this is also what messes us up. Most of us want to be in spaces where we can say, I'm not okay today. Most of us want to be able to do that. But because so many of us are walking around with a smile all the time and projecting and pretending like everything's always perfect in our lives, it doesn't create the space for the vulnerability. So everybody's walking around with a mask and everybody's miserable on the inside. And nobody has a space to say, hey, I'm not okay. And I really want to have a real, raw, uncut conversation like what we're having right now, so I can express how I'm feeling and also find out that I'm not alone in this. Other people are feeling what I'm feeling. And so along with communication, being vulnerable, women need to learn how to say, I'm not okay, or this is what's going on. Of course, not to everybody, having your special safe spaces where you can do that, but every woman needs a support system or a community or a friendship, a circle, a tribe somewhere where she can be with other women and communicate what's really happening in her life and find out. Because what we do find out when we open our mouths and get real, we find out that person feel that way, that person been through that person can actually show us how to get through that. None of our experiences are new. Okay.
That's good.
We're not alone in nothing that we go through. Somebody somewhere, more than just one, several people are going through the same stuff we're going through or have been through what we've been through. And so vulnerability, just being able to take off the cape, take off the mask and just say, like, this is life. Like, so many of us are struggling because we don't realize, like, this is just life. Life is difficult sometimes. It's challenging. Bad things happen to good people. And if you don't know this, if you don't have a place or an environment that is reminding you of this, you're going to be messed up. You're going to be thinking, oh, God is punishing me. Oh, I'm cursed. Oh, I just can't get nothing will work out for me. It's just not meant for me. I'm not the one. I'm not special enough. I'm not enough. I'm not whatever the case may be, because you aren't able to be vulnerable and have people be vulnerable with you. So that's definitely there on the list.
Yes.
Vulnerability, and then just understanding that you cannot survive without connection. You cannot. I don't care what you tell yourself. You cannot. You can say, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm not going to deal with people. I'm going to isolate myself. You will die. You cannot survive without connection. You cannot survive without connection. If you think about, because I can admit that there's been times where I realized, like, Andromeda, you were really connecting with people and you had this person and that person, you were part of this and part of that. And you were thriving because it's always somebody to reach back and lift you up or offer you an opportunity or send you a message to encourage you. The moment when I slowed down on that significantly because I got hurt is when I realized things are drying up around me. Things are drying up because I don't have enough connections. And I keep trying to recycle the same connections I have, but that ain't gonna work. That's not enough. You must always be connecting. That's where our power is. So I think those are the three things: communication, vulnerability, and the understanding that you cannot survive without connection. You just can't.
Didn't I tell y'all? I tried to prepare you before we got started. I hope you're taking notes. I told you she's a mic dropper, and this is what we're here for. Girl, where do I begin? Oh my God. Like, no man is an island. Oh, and that's something that that was my issue too. Because I would be like, again, cutoff game was strong and be by myself and or with myself. Girl, you helping me on today. I hope, are you getting help? Let me know if you're getting help, all right? Because I feel help on today. Something you said, I'll take off the cape. It reminds me of something I posted a few weeks ago. I said it was a declaration. I said, I remove the cape, lay it at your feet, and embrace true vulnerability. I decided to lay my cape at Jesus' feet, and I left it there, and I never picked it back up again.
Yes.
I have no desire to be strong. What do you mean? I'm not weak, but I have no desire to be strong. Ooh, girl, I feel a lake coming. I have no desire to be strong. I have no desire to be in a space where I cannot be 150% authentic, which comes with that authenticity comes with vulnerability. You cannot have true authenticity without vulnerability. And I think for me, that was another thing that I was trying to tiptoe around. Like, I'll be vulnerable, but I'll be vulnerable to a certain extent, you know? But it's like, no more. So yeah, girl, I put that cape down. I did. It was I officially put the cape down. I think it was in November. Because see, I was putting it down and picking it back up, putting it down and picking it back up. But officially it's retired. It's gone. Yeah. It's gone with the wind. As old girl would say, it's gone with the wind. Listen, I can't do it. So when you get to a place where you are tired, baby, tired, because you done made yourself an island. And so because you are an island, you are carrying so much unnecessary weight because it's only you. There is no community. There are no connections. Mm-hmm. And it's just you. That is a life you do not want to live. It will burn you. That by itself, forget the job, the kids, the spouse, businesses, forget all that. That by itself will burn you out and run you amok. You will feel like you're losing your mind. I don't know how. I know how. Actually, that was God, but I don't know. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know how I made it. I don't know how I made it because I done did some crazy stuff thinking it was a solution. Thinking I was protecting myself because at that moment, that's all I knew to do because I didn't have the understanding that I have now. I'm so grateful for evolving and growing. Right?
That right there, what you just said is that importance of, you know what your journey looks like. You know you haven't always done everything right. So it's not fair to judge people for not knowing what they don't know. They don't know yet. You can't expect somebody to behave in a way with knowledge they don't have yet. You can't. The best thing you could do for that person is to give them the knowledge, is to help them, support them, correct them when they're making a mistake, not cancel them and throw them away. Do you know what that does to people? Because we all struggle with this feeling of I'm not enough, right? Sometimes we all struggle with this feeling of not being worthy. So when you have people who throw you away, it's just further confirmation that you're not enough and you're not worthy. You could just be thrown away. You're disposable. We have a responsibility to each other because what we do, we know that circle back around. It's coming back. So we have a responsibility to each other. And if you are any type of spiritual being and you believe in God, you got to know he's not okay with you throwing his child away. You don't want that to be, you don't want to put a stain on somebody else's life. You don't want to be the person who's breaking somebody else's heart. You don't want to be the reason why this woman didn't get up today and she didn't walk in her purpose because you made her feel worthless. You do not want to do that. That's a bad idea.
Ooh, honey, I just clenched my pearls. I need pearls to clench. Ooh, I felt that all over my body. Okay, and oh my God, and I know what it's like. I know what it feels like to be discarded.
Me too.
And dispose. I know what it's like. And again, but in my younger years, did not have the understanding. And so what do we normally do? We're going to do what we know. And so in turn, that's what I did to others. Oh, this is too much, it's whatever. Okay, let's just, right? But what you just said is so funny, because I had a conversation with someone, and I remember distinctively saying, you know, I don't call people beautiful soul for no reason. That is intentional. It is a reminder that every time that it comes out of my mouth, every time I write it, every time I say it, that I am dealing with another soul. And so it is my heart's intent to speak well of the soul, hence the word beautiful. And that would help align and govern my thought processes and my action. Because at the end of the day, that's another human being. Oh my God, that's a mic drop again, girl. Just let's go. Oh my God. So we all know that relationships are currency. You said that about connectivity, like we thrive when we are connected. I think what it is it's this fine line. It's like trying to walk the balance of doing these things that are right, but at the same time protecting ourselves from predators. And I think that's where it becomes difficult. But what do you say to that? How can we walk that line? You know what I mean? Like not heal enough to not operate through trauma wounds, right? Or respond and react through from the negative experiences that we've had, but at the same time, not be a doormat and not allow people to walk all over you and all that other stuff. What are like two things we could implement and do today to navigate in this way that you're expressing to us?
Well, I mean, I think, like you've said, the healing is the biggest part. The healing is the biggest part for several reasons. One, when you are healed, then you're not operating from a place of a hurt person who's going to hurt people, right? And you have more wholeness about yourself to where when something happens, it doesn't immediately make you feel broken all over again. You're not triggered. Like I had to come to the realization that there were things in my past that were unhealed and unaddressed, making my present situations a million times worse, because this is happening in the present, but it's triggering all this stuff from the past. So I'm not just feeling what I'm feeling in the present, I'm feeling all the stuff from the past too. And you cannot make the best decisions in that frame of mind. You are always going to make the worst possible decision, probably in that frame of mind. So the healing part is important for that reason. It's also important because you do know this too. What you are is what you attract. When you are broken, when you are a hurt person who hurts people, that's what you're going to attract. It doesn't mean that good healed people don't sometimes attract broken people, because that happens too. But for the most part, who you are is what you attract. And so if you're constantly finding yourself in situations where, like me, when I talked about how I constantly had this revolving door friendship, that was because I wasn't even ready for the friendships I thought that I wanted or that I felt that I deserved. I wasn't even ready for that. I wasn't ready. I still had too much of my own stuff going on to attract that. I was attracting what I was. I was attracting other broken people who would break their promises and do hurtful and painful things to me. Even though I was in a space where I've always been this, treat people how you want to be treated type of thing. That's just how I was raised. That was what was ingrained in me. So I had I guess I say wisdom enough to know not to just be out here hurting people, but I was broken. And so I was attracting those kind of people. And so I would say, like you always, like the healing is in order, right? That has to come first. There's just no way around it. You can't skip it. You just can't skip. There is nothing that has to come first. It just has to come first. After you've done that, I just think that it comes naturally at that point. Like you know how to use your discernment at that point. You know what your standards are at that point. You know how to communicate what you're feeling, express what you're feeling, and let a person know what they're doing and how it's affecting you at that point. So once you get healed and whole, it makes it easier for you to deal with people like that when they do come into your space. And then, like I said, is the person doing something intentionally to harm you? That's the question. And if they're not, are they able to redeem themselves? Are they able to improve upon their behavior? Are even giving them the opportunity to do so? Are you, because some people, this is the problem with cutting people off, is especially without communication. Because I can raise my hand and say, I've done that. I'll cut you off and you don't even know why. You should know why. I feel like you should know why. It was a meme that was going around that was like, we're getting too old not to know what we're doing or whatever to other people, or to not know why other people are cutting us off, whatever the case may be. That's not true. That's not true. Some people have no clue what they're doing that's impacting you or affecting you. They have no clue. And when you cut them off without telling them, they just gonna keep doing what they're doing. They're gonna hurt somebody else. And it's sad. I feel sad for them because they have had no one to tell them that's not working. That's not good. That's hurting people. And so if you can get to that point where you can, again, know who you are, know what your worth is, know what your standards are, communicate your expectations clearly to a person and express to them when they are falling short of your expectations. And be flexible and understand that not everybody thinks or sees things the same way that you do, or love in the same way that you love, but they still might be valuable. That's how you can go forward. Now, for the people who out here who are just really like, they gonna do what they gonna do, they our intentions are set on hurting people, yes, send them on their way.
Right.
Pray for them and keep it moving, because I always say you need you to win. So you cannot put yourself in spaces where you're allowing somebody to break you down and tear down your self-esteem and tear down what you built and make life harder for you. Nobody needs that. So if then you got a genuinely toxic person in your life who is not ready to change, who is not listening to any type of advice or suggestion to improve, then yeah, you got to send those people on their way. Pray for them and send them on their way. That's it.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so good and power packed. Oh man. Like, I swear these interviews be getting me. Like, I'm telling you, like, oh, I just don't understand. Like, why are y'all coming for me? Like, y'all get me together, right? But I love it. I love the confirmation. I love the being reminded to make sure you stay on the path. I think it's necessary. I think it's very necessary. And for us to have the posture and to be open enough to receive that. Because that, to me, that is one of the things that makes us great. Now, you always talk about a winning mindset, honey. That's your thing. You want everybody to win, period, right? So I can't let you go without jumping into that, because that's something that you embody. That's something that you exude. I have watched you even before I joined the society. I've watched you be consistent. I've watched you, go through some things too now. And the very thing that you empower your clients with, and the very thing that you empower the members of the society with, are the very things that you live by. And that's something that I personally always look for, because that's kind of how I rock. Like, I'm transparent with, my clients and stuff like that. I think it's important. It's not just about what we have the ability to help people do, but it's about living and showing up so that we can also help people through.
That's good.
That part, because the head knowledge and our certificates and everything we've invested in to be who we are is great. Those are tools and things that we need, but it's that heart to heart living life experience that people resonate with. And so with that being said, mother, what is a winning mindset? And how can one begin? Just begin. You just give one good gem, begin to shift so that they develop the type of mindset that does everything we've been talking about. The healing, the development, the having the grace and the compassion for self, therefore extending it to I hope y'all been counting. She's been dropping some stuff. I hope y'all just been going and with a basket and picking it up, you know. So talk to us.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So a winning mindset. My definition of a winning mindset is making the daily choice to do the best you can with what you have. That to me is a winning mindset because, you know, some people are looking for this, you know, magical solution to just, you know, make life perfect and get to some special level in their life where they don't have any more struggle. And I'm the first one to tell my clients, guess what? I don't have that solution. I'm still going through stuff in my life. As far as what I understand, there is no level you're going to get to in your life where there's not going to be challenges, obstacles, adversity, struggle. There's no such thing. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be pushed towards your next level, your fullest potential, the greatest version of yourself. Always. There's no such thing as arriving. You're going to be leveling up, learning, growing until you die. Okay. And it's uncomfortable. Period. Okay. So to me, a winning mindset is, again, today I woke up this morning, I have breath in my lungs, I can move my limbs, you know, I have some money in my bank account, I can, you know, read, so with what I have in my hands today, I'm going to do the best I can with that. I'm going to go and exercise my body because I know that's productive. I'm going to go and pray because I know that's productive. I'm going to go and invest in some class or something that's going to increase my knowledge on a subject today. I'm going to go out here and be kind and give to somebody else because I have more than enough. So I'm going to give to somebody else today. Constantly sowing seeds into yourself and others because that is how you grow. People always talk about manifestation. Manifestation is you sowed a seed, the seed grew. Might not be tomorrow or next month or next year, but you sowed it, you watered it, and now you can see what you've reaped through your sowing, right? And so that to me is a winning mindset. To get to a point where you can do that every day, I think that it requires people to get 100% clear about what they truly want in life. Because a lot of people are in these routines and they're just doing things because they saw somebody do it on social media, because society said this is the definition of success, because they told you if you buy that thing or you do that thing or if you get in that relationship, you're going to be happy. And so people are running around here doing stuff that's not making them happy, not fulfilling them, not making them successful, and they are confused. If you can take the time to really get 100% clear about who you are and what is actually going to make you happy and what actually fulfills you, then you can work towards that. One of the things I have my clients do when they first come to me is take the time to sit down and write out, what does the best version of you and your life look like? If you know that the best version of yourself is, I don't know, 15 pounds lighter and, 2-3 times richer, and she has good friends and, her skin is glowing and she's feeling confident about herself and, she has ideas and visions and she moves out on them, whatever it is that you imagine, because we know who we are. That's the thing. When you go into that vision, that ain't coming from nowhere but God. That's inside of you. That's who you are. You can't envision yourself being somebody else unless you're intentionally trying to do that. But if you really take the time to say, who am I? What makes me happy? What does my best version look like? Whatever that vision is, that's you. That's who you are intended to be. That's who God created you to be. And you have every possibility of becoming that person. So once you know what you're working towards, then you can work towards it, right? You can't hit a target if you don't even have a target. Yeah. You got to actually know what your target is. And once you know that the person you want to be is kind and giving and loving and forgiving and resilient and strong and capable of achieving her goals and whatever it is, then you can work towards that. So every day, the question is, when I make this choice, is this in alignment with who I want to become or not? And if it's not, that's not the choice for me. That is how you get into a winning mindset. Every day, I mean, I have to coach myself.
Yes, girl, listen.
Almost every day, right? When I go to bed and I open my eyes in the morning, I get to decide, because I'm an entrepreneur and I create my own schedule, right? Ain't nobody telling me Andromeda to go to work today. Nobody's telling me sow that seed or do this, do that. I have to make that decision. When I open my eyes in the morning, I have to decide, Andromeda, you said you're going to pray, you're going to work out, you're going to meditate, you're going to do all these things, get your day started. I get to choose. And I have to say to myself, but if you lay in this bed, is that going to get you closer to the person you want to become, the person you know you are capable of becoming? Yeah. And I think that's where it starts. It's just getting clear about who you are and what you really want. Again, so many of us are running around here trying to chase somebody else's definition of success and happiness. And that's why we are unhappy and unfulfilled.
Period. This is why I rock with you so hard. I always say, I'm shouting from the rooftops, and I keep telling people, y'all keep going after these perfect coaches. You are literally buying into a gimmick. Y'all keep flocking to these quote unquote perfect people. And I just, at the end of the day, I just feel bad for them, because I'm like, I just think some of them really don't recognize that there is, like you said, there is no such thing as a rival. So if you are presenting something that is perfect and you never have an off day, nothing, never go, I don't even want you to help me. See, our understanding is so distorted and it's so warped. Like, I don't even want you to help me, because I don't know how you actually respond to real life. That's that humanity part I was talking about, to help people through. How do you actually respond to real life? This is one of the things that I know this podcast is here to do. And that is break through the masks and the facade that has been put up in so many different ways and in so many different areas. We've been in this place of, where we've kind of been groomed, like, okay, don't share the testimony until you overcome it. That's one of the big ones. Oh no, what goes on in this house stays in this house. Don't share it until you've gone through it, right? Because we don't do that. Now, no one ever told us why, really. You just don't do that. Like, you want to get through it first, but it's like, by the time you get through it and you overcome it and you share it, what eventually winds up happening is that you share where you was, and you may not do a fully good job at that, because it's not as fresh. Mm-hmm. And then you share where you now are. And what we often don't do a great job at is that in between. But what did you do when humanity was really heavy right through there? What did you do to get through that? That I'm missing. Give an example. Y'all know my heart. People always say they get in the pulpit, they in the church, and the pastor or the person, the guest preacher, whoever, they'll get up in the pulpit and they'll be like, I lost my mom, but I'm here, and I'm going to deliver. I'm a mess, and I'm going to deliver the word that God gave me, though. I've made it. I'm here. And those that know me already know how I operate. I never understood that. And then the congregation, they'll go up in the uproar. But God, everybody on high. But God. And it's like, do you not recognize that edifies no one? Your mom just passed away, or your dad just passed away. But you're here and you're going to deliver this word anyway. Let me help for those of because I am, connected to a lot of leaders. For those of you that chime in on this podcast, let me speak truth to power. That, my dear friend, does not edify anyone. That continues to aid in the dysfunction of, I am bleeding and I am hurting right now. But instead of processing, grieving, mourning, going through, doing what I need to do, I quote unquote push through, and I'm going to show up even though I'm a hot, bloody mess. And I'm just going, and God is just going to do it for, And, that's one of the best examples I could give of that, because it's so dysfunctional to me. It's like, we forget that, God, he went away a lot. I don't hear a lot of people teaching that. Jesus showed us self-care. He did. It's in there. He sure did. After this miracle, he went away. After that miracle, he went away. He always withdrew and went away to be replenished, to deal, to cope, to recharge. Like, this was showcased. Yet we're living in a society. It's not just the church. That was just an example. But it's the culture and the society where we're doing stuff like this and we think it is cute. This is not cute. Can we please cut it out? Please. Please. It is not okay. It is not cute. And this is why I use the word push, because I'm taking that word back. I'm taking, no, I don't want you to push through when you're bleeding. When it's time, I want you to put your feet in the stirrups and I want you to push out. There's a difference. I had to take that word back as the midwife. Like, I had to take that back because this is distorted. It's dysfunctional. We cannot do this. I say all of that to just say the whole dysfunction of, the way we communicate, how we are going through what we're going through. And it's like, I don't understand it. It's almost like somewhere in our mind, I don't know if it's a vulnerability issue, an ego issue, because for what I do know, I've even had a leader said this to me one time. And I was like, okay, I'm back. I was like, what? Yeah, you don't want to, you got to stay, a few steps ahead or something like that, to the effect that the person was saying. You don't want to give them everything you got. Like, you got to stay, and in certain areas, I can see that being wisdom. But in this, for what we were talking about, that wasn't it, right? You want to say, so what am I saying? I feel like people get into their title and their position so much that, like, whatever they're supposed to show up as, that they feel like they can't show you their humanity. And then we're wondering why so many people have committed suicide, leaders, pastors, billionaires, celebrities. Like, it's because they feel like they cannot express their humanity because they're supposed to present like this, or they're supposed to be this. And I tell people all the time, I don't know if people are ready for this, because the way I'm finna do my calling. Hello. Oh, humanity is going to be there. She's going to be right there. She's going to be on display because we're real, we're raw, and we are uncut. And the stuff that put y'all in the ground early, I refuse to allow it to take me out. So humanity is going to be there. Y'all could keep all these stipulations about how you want to tell the testimony. That's too much. Come on now. How you want to tell a testimony, when you want to tell it. Oh, you got to make sure that so that what? So that you can appear perfect? And I'm like, and these people, poor people, it's so sad. Y'all ain't got no discernment. You're just eating this crap up. You're just eating it up.
Because it looks good. It's packaged pretty. You know, when you're struggling and you see somebody living this perfect life, you wonder how is their life so perfect? But again, you find out that there is no such thing. I mean, I love Beyonce. She tells her story when she's ready, and you definitely know she's been through some stuff in her life. She's had miscarriages, her husband cheated on her. Like, I mean, she's Beyonce. Okay. So like, you know, everybody struggles. But again, that's why I say we have a responsibility to one another, because when we are out here pretending like everything is perfect, that puts the pressure on the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person. And it just continues on and on. And now we're just, again, walking around here sick in the inside, literally being destroyed from the inside out, because we are holding on to these stories and holding on to these struggles and suffering in silence, because we don't feel like we can be vulnerable. And it's really a problem. Even with talking about like the society we live in, right? I have conversations with my clients as well about specifically giving yourself grace during this time. Like you know that it's a problem, because I'm gonna tell you, when the pandemic hit, tell me if there was a pause button that was pushed, because I don't recall it. What I remember is that what you saw was what people doing, pushing through, right? Oh, we wear masks now, let's bedazzle them. Let's just keep on going like nothing is happening. Like we're not in a space that we don't know nothing about, never had to navigate through, and have no person we can tap on in this world to say, how do we get through a pandemic? No one. There is no one walking this earth today that can tell us how to get through what we are going through right now. We are literally all lost, okay? In this season, we have no clue what the heck is going on. None of us. But we gonna push through and act like everything's still all right. We gonna keep smiling, bedazzle our masks, and put on colorful. Like, come on, y'all. And then the people who feeling it, because everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. Yeah. But for the ones who are really honest and in touch with themselves and saying, like, this is crazy. Yeah. I'm really uncomfortable. I had these plans for 2020, and now my whole life has been turned upside down, and I don't know how to move forward. But meanwhile, she looked like she good over there. The pandemic ain't touching her. It must be because she got so much money, or it must be because she got a husband. It must be because whatever. She feeling it too. She just not showing it. Why are we not having these conversations? We are in a pandemic. The world as we know it, for all of our years we have living, completely changed. And we were expected to just keep moving forward. How? Make no sense. The mental effects of that in itself enough. Like, how do you expect it? But you're beating yourself up because you see sis over there. She says she's still making all this money in her business, and she's still, traveling, and so you feel like something wrong with you. No, sis, ain't nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. How you feel is normal, valid, expected.
Yes. Period.
Again, it's the society we live in, and everybody who's a part of this society is helping to perpetuate this idea that you must always be moving forward. You must push through. You must just stay positive. Okay. In some cases, staying positive just ain't gonna do it. Okay? That's not the answer. Just think positive. Write your affirmation. That's not that. In some cases, that's just not gonna cut it.
Period.
But again, that's the messages that are put out here. And if we're not wise enough to be able to say, like, subscribing to that.
That's right. It's discernment. I just feel bad for the people who they really want help. Like they're looking to like how to overcome. And listen, y'all, I'm just gonna say this one more again. Y'all just stay away from them people who there's nothing is ever wrong. Even when death is happening, it looks it's packaged. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to get up out of that thing, but I feel it so strong. Please be careful. Please be careful.
Yeah.
Okay. Please be careful, because first of all, and I could be, you might, say, okay, Robyn, you're just silly. But my thing is, if everything is packaged so pretty and so perfect, like, you unstable to me. I'm sorry, you're unstable. At some point, you're gonna pop off, and I'm not gonna know when, and I don't even want to be in the room when it happens because your life's too perfect. There is no such thing. I don't care how much you have acquired, where you have gone, what you have experienced, I don't care. There's no such thing as perfect. Like I said, there's no such thing as arriving. And so this whole notion, and I see it so much in so many different ways, and I'm just like, I'm not subscribing to it. I'm not doing it. And this pivot, that I've been in, we talk where my business has totally pivoted, but I really haven't done much since I relaunched it. And that's on purpose. I'm following the leading of the Holy Spirit. That's on purpose. When it comes, but I got to set the tone, because you and I both, we're not these other type. We're not these coaches out here. We don't, nah. And we have no problem with showing our humanity. And real conversations is what is going to get us through, period. It's what's going to help us win.
Yes.
So, honey bunches of oats, what's on your heart? I want you to give the listeners a message. Just flow from your heart, something that you feel needs to be said, to encourage someone, or that, something that they may need. Just go ahead and flow and just give whatever message is on your heart.
Well, immediately what came to my mind was, you are not alone. I think that so many of us get to places or experience seasons in our life where we feel like we are alone, not just alone in terms of people, but also feeling like, God is not present with us. He does not hear us. He forgot about us. He's mad at us even sometimes. I just want to encourage you. I just want to encourage you to know that you are not alone, and the season that you are in currently has purpose. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't feel what you feel. That doesn't mean that you don't have moments when you cry or scream or whatever you feel like you need to do in that moment. But just know that greater is ahead. Whatever season you're in is not forever. Okay, it's not forever. It's a moment. And even if you don't feel it right now, the reason why this is happening it's happening for your good. It's moving you towards your greater good. It might not look like it. It might not feel like it. You might not understand it, but just know that it's moving you towards your greater good. And if you need proof of this, because sometimes, we just need proof. If you need proof of this, look back over your life. Look back over your life and reflect on those moments, because you've been here before. Maybe not in this situation, but you have been in a situation where you felt like, I can't go on. I don't know what to do next. I'm not gonna survive this. I've fallen in a hole so deep that it's gonna be impossible for me to climb out of it. You've been here before. You have. And it was hard and it was tough and you cried and you struggled. But then you woke up one day and realized you're out of that hole. And not only are you out of that hole, but you're in a much better place than you were before. And if you can remember that, then you will be able to keep going. That will be a motivation to help you to keep going. But know that you're not alone. Someone else somewhere, and I don't know, like maybe we shouldn't get gratification out of knowing we're not alone in our struggles. But sometimes that is gratification to know, like, it's not just me. God's not punishing me. This is not only my life experience. Someone somewhere is going through that. And I would encourage you to be able to use your voice, lift your voice up, and be vulnerable enough to say, I'm going through this, so that you can find those people who are going to help you through this season, who are going to link arms with you. I went through something very disappointing, devastating, traumatic in my life this year. And something I never expected happen. Like, you know, that was one of those God, why me moments. Like, I thought we was cool, God. Like, you did that to me? Right. Like, I thought it was your girl. I thought I was special to you. Why would you do something so traumatic to me? And what I've come to realize is a couple of things. So one, watch your mouth, right? Watch your mouth, because sometimes you are putting challenges out there that you're gonna have to accept. And before I went through this traumatic situation, I was on a podcast and I was talking about how strong my faith was and how I had been through so much stuff in life that my faith was unshakable. And so guess what happened? I experienced something that shook my faith to the core. But what I know about that is that even though it's traumatic, and I'm still have my moments where I'm like, God, what's up? I know that when I get on the other end of this, I'm going to have more faith, and I'm going to have more tools in my toolbox to help other women. I was put on this earth to do exactly what I'm doing. And there's no way that I can continue my journey to help other women if I don't go through certain things and overcome them. And so I've come to accept that. Funny enough, before I went through this traumatic situation, I posted something on Instagram and I said, I've come to the understanding that part of my purpose is to go through certain things so that I can inspire other people. I'm saying the stuff before it even happens. Okay? Before it even happens. I'm putting all this stuff out there, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I wasn't ready. I was not ready. But because I can look back over my life, look back over what I've been through, look back over all the times that God was there and he helped me and he covered me and he protected me, because this situation could have killed me. I could have been dead. I could not be here. So he was still present. He still saved me, and I know he's still going to use what I've been through for good. But understand, your life is not your own. I think that's you are not alone, and your life is not your own. Okay? You are here for a purpose. Everything that you go through and experience is for a greater purpose. You are here in some way to do God's work, to make an impact on this world by doing his work. And so things are going to happen. You are going to have experiences that are going to mold you and shape you into the person you need to be in order to make the impact you are intended to make while you are here. And so just know that you are loved. You are very special and extremely important. You're so important that you have to go through certain things so that you can make a greater impact. So I just want to encourage you to keep going, keep knowing and knowing and knowing that everything is happening for your greater good. Everything is pushing you towards your highest good. You are going to be okay.
Girl, that was so good to me. Okay. Okay, like they do on those reels. Why are you being weird to me? That was good. That was good. Oh my gosh. I hope y'all are so encouraged by that. And I definitely resonated with that part where you were saying certain things you have to go through according to your purpose and what it is you're on this earth to release. And boy, I know that I literally used to get mad at God. And I used to feel like, I felt like I was his test dummy. I felt like, I'm like, you just like martyring me. Like, what's going on? Like, what is happening? But that is the beauty of transforming experiences. That's the beauty of transforming negative experiences, being able to process it in a way and extract what you're supposed to have and get out of it. Oh, that was so good. Andromeda, tell the people where they can connect with you. Let them know, first of all, what do you have coming up? Do you have anything happening? Have anything coming up? And then tell them how they can connect with you.
Well, I have my second book is scheduled to be published in 2022.
Ow.
It was supposed to be this year, but again, life happens and you have to just keep going and move however you got to move. So my book will be published next year. Hopefully, I'm fingers crossed for my birthday is the date to be released, January 17th. But definitely very soon. So look out for that. It's called She Wins Again. So my first book was She Wins Again. And this book is, She Wins gets into that winning mindset and, making sure that you are, building connections with other women. This book is about more about life and overcoming the losses, because you can't appreciate a win. A win is nothing without a loss. Actually, it's nothing. What is a win without a loss? You have to. It's nothing. Winning means nothing if there's no such thing as losing, right? So you have to lose. Like Spencer said, sometimes you got to lose to win again. That's coming out, as well as just look out for our events and retreats for 2022. Definitely planning on doing Stepping into Sisterhood again, likely virtually. So keep your eye out for that. And of course, the She Wins Society community. I'm super, super, super excited because we have some new course instructors coming in for 2022 for financial wellness, purpose and profit.
Yes.
If you are interested in starting a nonprofit organization, we have somebody coming to teach on that. We have just some amazing, amazing courses lined up for 2022, which I'm super excited about. Robyn taught this year, Give Birth to Your Goals. It was awesome. Our courses are comprehensive, so it's going to set you on a path to be able to see growth and progress throughout the year, which is the goal. And so if you'd like to learn more about joining the She Wins Society community, or even coaching, I offer personal development coaching, creative development coaching. You can visit SheWinsSociety.com, as well as make sure that you're following She Wins Society on Instagram for motivation, encouragement, inspiration. Sometimes just a nugget I'm going to drop to help you get your mind right, get yourself back on track to win. And so, yeah, make sure you're following She Wins Society on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And yeah, SheWinsSociety.com. Thank you, Robyn.
You're welcome. Y'all already know I'm going to have all the links and stuff like that in the show's notes and description. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Oh, y'all, I don't want to let her go. I don't want to let her go, but I'm going to let her go. Because we can't hog them all the time. But we are going to have her back at some point, because she's just a mic dropper. You gave me life. You gave me life. And I know that you guys have learned something in this particular podcast episode. So again, I'm going to have everything you need in the notes. And I want you to remember, always, always, always believe in your future enough to outlive your past. I love you. Thank you so much for transforming these negative experiences with us. And we will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning into Diaries of an Ex-Adult Entertainer, the podcast. Don't forget to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Robyn D. Robbins. Important links for this episode can be found in the description. Until next time, share this podcast with a friend. Hugs and much love, beautiful soul.